As many of you know, after the recent car accident I was in, I lost my job. I still got bills to pay and this has not been my year, but I wanted to take this time to focus on my channel, starting with a slew of quicker videos. First of which being Sonic Colors, which was voted on Patreon supported by people such as Jeffrey Long, Cashinator, Pretoria Mars, and Q. Thanks guys. Sonic Colors alongside Heroes was one of the few 3D Sonic games I never got around to playing. I don't know, I've owned the game for years, I just don't play my Wii that often. But after playing it for the first time, I gotta say, it's pretty good. Colors is considerably more lighthearted than the handful of titles that preceded it. Eggman builds a theme park in outer space to capture an alien race referred to as Wisp, and it's up to Sonic to stop him. It's a goofy premise for sure, and Colors is very indulgent in that fact. Even the gameplay keeps things simple. Outside of the Wisp, there aren't any gimmicks here. Every single stage sees you playing as Sonic, where you just have to reach the end. Simple stuff. Hell, the game doesn't even start with any story. For real, you select a new game and just like that, you're playing. No hub worlds either. All you have is a simple map select, so you can play stage after stage after stage. Colors gets a lot of praise for being one of the best titles in the series for this very reason. There's no bullshit. What you see is what you get, and what you get is pretty damn good. Not without its share of missteps though. This is Sonic after all. I had a great time playing through most of these stages. Having said that, I was not prepared for the ups and downs of Sonic Colors. There are some levels that feel grand and unique, and then there's levels where they copy and pasted a bunch of blocks and called it a day. After playing the game for a fair amount, I started to notice a pattern. The first 1 or 2 acts of a zone were always the longer, more well thought out stages of the world. They always felt really unique in their ideas and execution. However, once you get to the later acts in any particular world, that's when it starts to feel like filler. By comparison, these are typically much shorter stages, focused on slow platforming segments, a slew of repeated assets, and typically all in 2D. Both Sonic Generations and Sonic Unleashed had stages like this, but those were the bonus stages, whereas the ones in Colors are only front and center. They're required. Speaking of 2D, that might be my biggest gripe with Sonic Colors. There is a lot of 2D platforming. I don't want anyone to take me out of context. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with modern Sonic in 2D. Sonic Rush is just that, and that's easily one of Sonic's best 2D outings. Nonetheless, the reason so many of the 2D sections in Colors don't work is because they're designed in a way that asks you to slowly and carefully make all these tight jumps, which would be fine in a game like Lost World, where there's a run button and more responsive controls. But Colors uses an engine that feels very similar to Unleashed. A damn fine engine for sure, but needless to say, that was a game built all around speed and fast platforming. Using controls that feel looser to aid the speed segments are not ideal when asked to carefully approach a platforming segment, and a lot of the level designs and colors that would otherwise feel clever feel misplaced. I don't want to make it sound like it's all loss. There are plenty of great 2D sections, and not every level that has nothing but 2D is bad. It's the levels that seamlessly transition between 3D and 2D that really stand out though. Sweet Mountain Act 1. Easily one of the best modern Sonic stages ever. Speaking of Sweet Mountain, this is another area where Colors definitely deserve some credit. Usually I'm not a fan of food-themed worlds. It's a novel concept for sure, but from my own personal experience, whenever a game is a food stage, it's always really poorly paced for whatever reason, which was why I was delighted to find out the food-themed world in Colors was fantastic. Some of the best level designs in the entire game. What I like about it is that it doesn't just play the food trope straight. All of the designs have a heavy industrial influence that make this world in Colors feel more than just a quote-unquote another game with a food level. In fact, the level themes and artistic choices in general are all fantastic. We have the obvious graphical restraint because it is on the Wii. The art direction still shines through all those limitations all the same. Some scenes are nothing short of breathtaking, even on the Wii's low definition at 480p. You know what else is breathtaking? You are. But also that damn soundtrack, because holy damn is that stuff good. Then of course there's the main theme, Reach for the Stars, which will be stuck in your goddamn head all day once you hear it. The last nitpick I have for Colors is I'm not convinced the Wii was the best console of choice for this game. I say this for 2 reasons. First being the controls. Since this was designed with the Wii Remote in mind opposed to a controller with standard left and right shoulder buttons, you'll be using the control stick for sidestepping and grinding, which there is a decent amount of both in this game. Rails I can manage, but sidestepping using the control stick when you're expecting to run left or right feels really strange. Just use the GameCube remote or the classic controller, right? Yeah, that's what I thought too, until I tried them and it still didn't let me use the shoulder buttons to sidestep or switch rails. There would be times where I would get hit because the movement I made with the control stick wouldn't register, and that's always frustrating. I understand needing to use the control stick for sidestepping when using the Wii remote or nunchuck, but when you choose to use a GameCube or classic remote, controllers with plainly visible shoulder buttons, there's no excuse why it shouldn't be mapped to those more reliable inputs like in all other Sonic games. That being said, I would still recommend using a GameCube controller if you want to avoid the obligatory Wii motion controls, which are absolutely absolutely required for the Wisp. The second reason I question the choice of console is the frame rate and overall fidelity. Sonic running at 30 frames a second isn't the end of the world or anything, but if this game were to be released on other modern consoles at the time, those of which being the PS3 or 360, not only could we play at a silky smooth 60 frames a second at 1080p, but we could have avoided the aforementioned control scheme and exchanged the controls more similar to what we saw in Unleashed. Not to mention, Sonic colors would look stunning in HD, because hot damn what a vibrant game. I would love to see how all these lighting effects would look in a more advanced shader. Sonic Colors is probably one of the best, if not the best, designed Sonic game in the sense that there's not a whole lot wrong with the game, outside the few nitpicks already mentioned. Stupidly creative environments, some really clever and fun to use Wisp, and for the most part, you're getting the modern Sonic gameplay most fans of the series love, which is why I find it odd I wasn't as engaged with it as I was Generations or even the adventure games of all the problems. I was ruminating as to why this was, and what I really think it comes down to is that Sonic Colors plays things pretty safe. For every lame moment in Adventure, there was an awesome memorable moment where you'd be chased by a killer whale or outride an avalanche on a snowboard. Colors may not have all the bad moments of Adventure. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some pretty boring 2D levels, but there's certainly no Big the Cat. But Sonic Colors also doesn't have any of those really memorable moments that will always stick with me. There's some fantastic looking backdrops and moments as mentioned before, though my overall impression while playing it wasn't total enthrallment. It was more like, yeah, this is pretty good. And yeah, pretty good still makes it much better than most of the other stuff Sega has put Sonic through. I'm not here to tell anyone they should think less of Colors. Sonic Colors is a very solid game, and if it's your personal favorite Sonic, I totally get that. I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy my time with it as well. It's a lot of fun. Not my personal favorite Sonic. However, it is still a game that is definitely worth playing. It might not have the highs of something like Generations, but it's one of those rare moments where Sonic Team actually showcase themselves learning from their mistakes and sticking with what they know works. And hey, what's wrong with that? If you're a fan of Sonic and have yet to play Colors, then this is a very easy recommendation. Reach for the stars and keep on running. Hey, thanks for watching. Also, thanks for 100,000 subs. I wasn't really prepared to do anything for that because I didn't think it was going to happen this soon, but thank you. I'll think of something. But in the meantime, I'd like to give a special thanks to some of my patrons, such as Amanda Guth, King Cosmic, Rami Batter, Chaz Robinson, Martin Hosterhagen, was that one better? Jeffrey Long, Cashinator, Q, Praetorian Mars, and Abby Knutson. I say it a lot, but seriously, thank you all so much. And until next time, have a good one.